So when I first moved into my studio apartment, not gonna lie, I ate out way too regularly because I am very thoughtful about what I buy and when I buy it. Therefore, I will literally just go without it until I find the one. But finally, I settled on buying the Always pan because you're supposed to be able to use it for everything. So if you're not familiar, over the past year, basically since quarantine, I started filming what I eat in a week videos. So I looked back on my videos and I tried to pinpoint the time where my Always pan stopped working the way it initially did. So that's the first bombshell. Does it work exactly the same as when I first got it? No. And this is because, like any nonstick, this pan has a coating. And what does that really mean? If you're anything like me at one point in my life, you probably thought that everything was cooked on high. I literally thought this. Well, it's not. And that's exactly the case with this pan. You can't cook this on too high of a setting. And this is also the case with oil. You really always want to be lubricating your pan. Like if you've ever used cast iron before, you know that using fat is a crucial part in it actually being non-stick because it just helps it with time. And I feel like that's also the case with this as well. So that is where I went wrong because I burned something in this pan, and that is where my problems started. But you're probably asking, well, if it's non-stick, how could it burn in the first place? In this case, I didn't have any lubrication in this specific area that my food clung to. And for reference, this occurred in around October of 2020. So rather recently. However, I purchased my pan like a whole year prior in literally October of 2019. So yeah, for that year, my pan was completely fine. I exercised patience. I didn't burn anything in my pan. And I learned as I went. I noticed that a lack of moisture was when things started to adhere to the pan, not necessarily get stuck because they would still just wipe away. Or when I reduced the pan with liquid, it would come right up. And I didn't have any discoloration in the actual enamel itself until after I had the burn incident. However, should it still be a nonstick pan? Yes, which as you can see here, it still functions as a nonstick pan, making sure that you are using the appropriate heat setting. You also should be using your lid. It comes with a lid for a reason. For some people I know on my team that I don't need to explain this, but when you're cooking, water is evaporating from your food. This is why when you overcook your protein, it just gets dry. It's like if you were to boil a pot of water. If you were to leave it for long enough and you came back to it, there would be nothing in the pot. And so this is why things can easily get stuck to your pan if you are not using the lid, especially if you're cooking it on too high of a heat. But if you use the lid, you trap in a good deal of that moisture. I even use the lid when I'm just like toasting bread. I know it seems counterproductive, but trust me, it still works. You've seen me use this technique for grilled cheese. So those are the top 2 tips. Don't cook things on high heat. It cannot withstand it. Instructions actually say that you should use low to medium heat. That is actually true and concrete. There's no way to work around it. I know it might feel wrong and it takes longer, but it's what you got to do if you want to preserve the coating. Just like with cast iron, the oil almost seasons the pan and it's going to help keep the nonstick qualities intact. But all of that aside, what is absolutely unacceptable are scratches. Of course, this comes with the wood spatula, and as you guys saw, I always use silicone. So you would think that I would have no scratches. However, I do. And why I do is because although I would love to say that metal has never touched the surface of this pan, that would be false because they give you a metal basket. That is just wrong on so many levels. I can understand if this was, a business choice that made the most sense in terms of production, fine, I will accept that. However, the simplest solution would just be silicone feet that fit on the bottom. And if they come out with that after this video, you heard it here first. So as you can probably imagine, yeah, not a fan of this basket whatsoever. And the funny thing is that the entire time that my pan did remain immaculate was when I was not using this. And the reason for that is because I received one of the initial designs, meaning that my basket had one handle, which as you can see made the weight distribution really poor. So even if I wanted to, I physically could not use it. It would have just toppled over. So I would just set it into my sink and drain pasta into it, and that was it. But I felt some kind of way because I did pay for it. So I started steaming sweet potatoes in it, buns, and the rest is history. Needless to say, I don't use it anymore. So I have invested into the bamboo steamer, and hopefully that that is an adequate replacement. And I have gotten questions about like the bottom of the pan, if there's any discoloration to that. I don't really care about this. As you can see, I've kept the rest of the pan in mint condition. The sides of it are still brand new looking. Have I spilled food on them? Yes, but it's easy for me to clean off because I never let food dry onto the exterior or interior of the pan. However, for the bottom, this isn't food. This is, heat marks. So the big question is, would I actually recommend this pan or would I buy it again? And the answer is actually yes, because I did. I bought the newest design. It has a stainless steel bottom. So far, so good. I followed all of the principles that I've told you about in this video, and she's behaving right. Like any product, everything is not going to be for everyone. There are some people who are never going to stop cooking on high heat, or if the dishes that you make, are not going to be accustomed to this particular like heat setting or cooking technique, then of course it's going to be a no. And let's be honest, I didn't just buy this pan because it was non-stick. If I did, I could have gotten any non-stick pan that was significantly cheaper than this. Why a lot of us are attracted to it is because it looks good. But I don't want you guys to take my word for it, because again, this is just not something that's going to be for everyone. But if you want to see if it's for you but really can't stomach the price tag, you're in luck, because I am doing a giveaway. No, this is not sponsored. I really just wanted to say thank you to all of the people who enjoy my channel, who show their support by commenting and liking and just being the community that I love coming to this platform for. And so I really appreciate everyone who has just kind of roll with all of the changes and evolution that this channel goes through. So the rules are nothing. You don't have to do anything, because if I regularly see your name in the comment section, and believe me, I do, I read every single one, you are already entered into this giveaway. So the winner will be receiving the Always pan in the color steam, as well as the spruce steamer. So you're gonna get the steaming basket and the giant chopsticks.